controlling themselves or somebody else. The third is caffeine. Now, admittedly, this is nothing too serious here, but caffeine does knock us off sometimes. It can affect you in terms of your sleep cycles and eating cycles and cause nervousness and anxiety by itself. The fourth negative addiction is food. And admittedly, how many people do you know in your life who turn to food to feel comfortable, to tranquilize themselves or pacify themselves, or with certain kind of foods, to stimulate the adrenal high and get themselves back up again and be hyper? Critical issue, by the way, because obesity is becoming more and more a focal point in our society. How many people are gaining weight and having difficulty because they're using food to deal with anxiety is the fourth negative addiction. The fifth is television. How many people do you know in your life who become glued to it hours at a time, tranquilizing their mind, taking them away from reality, and all the stress they're thinking about is gone because they're focused on something which means nothing? And so television becomes a primary addiction of how people escape from reality to avoid the emotional pressure and create this vacuum in their lives. Number 6, oversleep. People who sometimes use sleep as avoidance of reality, as a way to hide, like getting back in the cave, like hiding in a cocoon and protecting themselves. The seventh negative addiction, here's the big one, and that's drugs. People who are turning to drugs, pharmaceutical drugs or illegal drugs, whatever, in order to deal with all the emotional pressure of their lives. Where back in the old days when you were a farmer or a hunter or a gatherer, you were so busy each day just in survival that you burnt the stress out of your system naturally. Now in today's society, with all the emotional pressure, but you can't go out and kill something like you did in the old days, we turn to drugs to deal with all that emotional pressure. Number 8 is gambling. It may be an inherent part of our nature to confront risk and take chances, but for some people, it also destroys their lives and they lose everything in gambling addiction. I also have to mention, by the way, if you're taking notes, that number 8 also includes shopping. Gambling and shopping are similar in that regard. You ever find yourself down like in an emotional funk? Gambling and blackjack or going out shopping suddenly gets you back up again emotionally. It's all in the same context. And by the way, I hope I don't offend anybody, but my wife's credit cards were stolen recently, but I am not reporting the guy because he's spending half as much as she used to. Number 9 is depression. And admittedly, it's one of the most serious problems in our society today. And it's different than the other addictions. Number 9 and 10 is somewhat different, but it's still I want to put in the same category. Number 9 is when we have the conditioned reaction to internalize anxiety. And there are some professions, by the way, who are not allowed by the nature of their business, whether it's dentists or nuns or whatever, to get angry or frustrated. So they keep anxiety inside themselves. And I don't want to get into how serious depression can become, but I do want to say to you that at any given moment, latest research, 15% of our population are so depressed as to be totally unable to operate and completely ineffective. Of the other 85%, a significant percentage, like 3/4 at various times in their lives, also become depressed. So it's a primary issue. We'll discuss the solution in a moment. But next, number 10, rather than keeping the anxiety inside ourselves in depression, we externalize it and dump it on somebody else. And while number 9 has only one word, depression, number 10 has lots of words like anger, hostility, becoming violent, abusive, or abrasive in some regard, and dumping it on somebody else. Now, before I discuss the 4 positive addictions, I've got a couple of critical thoughts for you regarding the 10 negatives. The first, in my opinion, there are only 2 causes of frustration. They're one word each: boredom and burnout. And they're both caused by the same word, and that word is expectations. The higher your expectations, the more demand you place on yourself to succeed, the more challenge you may take on, the more you might be in danger of burnout, overload, in danger of short-circuiting. However, if you don't want any stress and you lower your expectations just to be comfortable, then the danger of boredom. And by the way, let me tell you, the real problem is in the boredom. Because when you're in burnout, at least invariably, you know where the problem is coming from. Somebody cut you off on the road. A child back-talked to you. But the boredom, that can take 3 or 4 years before it becomes serious. Then you don't know where it came from. But hang on one second. Boredom and burnout, the only frustrations in life, caused by the same word, expectations. Expectations get too high, you're in danger of burnout. You lower the expectations, you're in danger of getting into a rut and becoming depressed by boredom. Here's my next thought for you. All negative addictions are either uppers or downers. But the next part coming up gets more complex. Let me put it to you in question form. What is the relationship between uppers and downers and boredom and burnout? Here's the first connection. People who hate boredom, who actually enjoy stress. Is there anyone in your life who you know who, when they drive to work in the morning, will start cutting people off on the road just to amuse themselves? Who loves sarcasm?